Now, developing story for you. In the last hour, both Israel and Hamas have announced that the ceasefire will continue. Hamas said it will continue for another day, while the Israelis didn't specify how long, only adding that the truce will continue in order to continue exchanging hostages.
Well, we're joined by GB News reporter Charlie Peters with the latest. Morning, Charlie.
Good morning. So, yesterday, some 16 hostages released, including 4 Filipinos and 2 Russian Israeli nationals. But the 10 Israelis are the main focus as they push on for that continued ceasefire, with the list being sent to the Israeli Prime Minister's office by Hamas in the last hour, last minute, to extend the ceasefire into another day. And the UN say that the situation in Gaza is now a humanitarian catastrophe. And its chief said that what is needed is a true ceasefire. No more of these 24-hour, 48-hour, last-minute extensions. While the ceasefire is ongoing, more aid is coming into the Gaza Strip via the Rafah crossing in the south. The Saudis, a key diplomatic player in this discussion, has said that the aid coming through is just a fraction of what is needed, also reiterating that call for a further ceasefire. It seems as though all of the players in the region and Washington want the peace to continue, apart from Israel. But last night we heard from the IDF Chief of Staff, Herzi Halevi, who said, "We are ready to push on, and they are ready for what comes next." Well, what could that mean? The situation on the ground is, of course, extremely tense. Yesterday, in the north of the Gaza Strip, 3 soldiers were killed from Hamas after those terrorists were struck by IDF soldiers who said that they were threatening the peace. There have been several incidents earlier this week in the last 72 hours where the truce was briefly breached due to some confrontation between Hamas fighters and IDF troops. So this next list of hostages, if and when they are released, it'll be in the south, in the Kerem Shalom crossing. That's where they are assessed by the Israelis before they come through. And the question now is who will be next on that list? Because so far, the Hamas side have been able to release women and children, but they're starting to dip into what they might describe as more high-value hostages, young men. Last night, Itai Regev, we met his mother in Israel last month while GB News was based in central Israel. He was released, and that family has now been reunited. But there are reports that Hamas is running out of those hostages that it can send over. Some 40 hostages reportedly missing, some of them being held by the Palestinian Islamic Jihad throughout the Gaza Strip, reportedly in Khan Yunis and Rafah in the south, 2 of the most densely populated parts of the Gaza Strip. So, who will they be able to release next? It's unclear. But what we do know is that it almost certainly won't include the now iconic family, the Bibas family, who have been so central to this discussion about the hostages. Hamas claimed yesterday that the 10-month-old baby, Kfir Bibas, had been killed in an Israeli airstrike, along with his 4-year-old brother and 32-year-old mother. The IDF have yet to confirm those reports amid concerns that the family had been lent to the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, another terrorist organization in the region. But taking Herzi Halevi's quotes, that general from the IDF, if that ceasefire is to end in the coming days as Hamas run out of hostages to continue the peace, they'll have to push down into this area, the most densely populated place on earth. Some 2.3 million civilians now in the south. We understand that some 100,000 have remained in North Gaza, many of them staying in about 50 shelters up there. And those who have moved south are being urged to move to an area called Al-Mawasi, a 14-square-kilometre humanitarian enclave on the coast. Its population density 40% greater than that of London. So if the IDF do move south, they are being warned by Washington and other allies in the region to not use the same force they did in the north. No tanks and no heavy bombardment, because if they do, that catastrophe in the south will surely worsen.